How have you guys adapted that in-store experience because of everything we've been going through? And then what are the lasting impacts of those changes?
This is a very important question because it's never going back to the way it was. I have never seen customers more excited to be able to come into the store as they are right now. So before, it was like, I got to put on my pants, I got to fight the traffic. But then last year with all the shenanigans, now it's like I get to go shop for this stuff.
Welcome into the Independent Thinking Podcast. This is your host, Rob Stott. You know, it's not often you get to talk to a present-day superhero, if you will. You know, in my time, just in doing this podcast, you know, I've been able to talk to astronauts. I've been able to talk to some, you know, execs from some major vendor partners, and obviously our own celebrity-esque staff here at Nationwide Marketing Group. And in previous lives, you know, athletes and big-time business owners and heads of some major associations throughout the industry, and but never a superhero. And that's what I got the chance to do recently during my time in Nashville for Primetime, when I sat down with the one, the only Mattman, better known as Andrew Schlesser of Sweet Dreams down there in the Lake Norman area, just north of Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, part of that dream team down there, you know, doing big things with Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture. And was excited. You know, I've had conversations with Andrew in the past and done some work together, but never on a podcast. And I know, you know, he recently got going on a podcast himself, so it was nice to be able to sit down with a fellow podcast host and just chit-chat about business, about, you know, how things are going for him, the origin stories of Mattman, and kind of, you know, how that came about, and the you know, the way they've been able to use it and market the store and just do some great things, you know, down there, and just outside the box thinking for, you know, a mattress and furniture store. So great to be able to sit down with him and just have those conversations and share them with you, because he's got a lot of great things to share. So let's just dive into it. This is Andrew Schlesser of Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture from Primetime. All right, we're back here at Primetime in Nashville, and this moment is a dream come true because I get to sit down with a real-life superhero who does superhuman things, and that's Mr. Andy Schlesser, otherwise known as Mattman, Sir Capes-a-Lot.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning.
You know,
how are you?
I'm fantastic. I planned out my sleep for this trip. I might not have gone to bed on time, but I woke up a little bit later. I got in my sleep cycles, but honestly, I'm sitting here at this table, and you feel like you're with a superhero?
I do.
No. When I sit at the table with Nationwide Marketing Group people, I'm just a weird oven mitt wearing a bed sheet. You guys are the superheroes. You guys are the ones that literally make this stuff happen.
I appreciate it, and the other cool thing about this too, a plug for you, a plug for the superhero things you do. Two podcasters sitting at a table.
Oh!
So talk about what that's like. How's it running a podcast?
It's fantastic. It's taught me a lot about what I'm trying to teach the customers and teach even our employees, because there's a lot of things that have evolved in today's world. Like if you look at like you know, cell phones from a decade ago versus today, and the technology, everything is so distracting, and information is just it's an avalanche. So even I'm disseminating through it, and I've gone through a lot of personal growth because I injured my back last year really bad, and I thought that if I really changed my sleep habits, I could overcome those. And it ends up medically I can't, and but that's okay. Like I had a hip replacement and everything. And
how old are you?
39.
Wow.
It's about 4 weeks ago, actually.
That's crazy.
But
crazy.
Thing is that fixed a lot of it, right? And now I have all these great new habits. So the podcast is me telling that story of, look, I couldn't figure it out quickly, but instead of just giving up, instead of just like whatever, I tried to control what I could control. Absolutely. And I've seen moments where, you know, when you go to sleep, what time you want to go to bed, and I would always stay up whenever I wanted to, but then I've met people who never get that choice. So I'm grateful that I do get to choose and plan out my sleep. I'm grateful for that 5 minutes every day where I can make a plan to try to turn on my superpowers, because, dude, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. This is a highly volatile time in our industry, in retail, or even just in relationships in general. So you just have to be ready.
One of the things I've learned about, sticking on podcasting for a second, just being able to the people you talk to, like it's fun for me because I love telling stories and just getting to know people, and not always, obviously our goal is talk to as many members as possible and figure out about their businesses and business strategies, things like that, but also the people behind the businesses, right? So to hear their stories, how they got into it, why they got into it, and you learn and can connect a lot better with them, I think, being able to tell those stories and talk to them. And I mean, have you been able to, and I know it's only been, how long have you been doing the podcast?
Just since the beginning of the year.
Have you noticed that, though, like in being able to tell stories, or, the way you've been telling stories through the podcast?
So it's more of my own personal journey on there, and I did interview one of our staff members who has very, very good sleep habits. But what you just described is like what we're doing here at NMG at Primetime. You're networking, you're learning. Because when you go back to your desk and you got a job to do, if you're just by yourself, like it's not like, like what am I doing here? Who am I doing it for? But all that, all those experiences you're sharing with everybody, like in my local market, when I go to these other business owners at networking events and I ask them questions, and I find out that we all have these same kind of challenges, but people come at it from different ways. That I go sit at the desk and I'm like, well, that guy got this done. I can try to get this done now too. So that's awesome. Those are the people behind it. So I mean, that's what makes this work.
So what's going on at Sweet Dreams right now? Tell us about business today. What's it like? How's things going? I know it's been like you said, a volatile 18 months here that we've been living through. But what is how's it been there? Dude,
I can't help you see Sweet Dreams. I can't help you see the vision until I give you some superhero shades.
All right.
These are Elite Dreams with Sweet Dreams superhero shades. Now, when you put this on,
then I'll get the vision of what's happening.
You will be able to see the vision. So
there it is.
Yes.
There it is.
Dude, you look fantastic. Thank you. Wow.
Just a couple of podcasters in sunglasses.
Dude, those look, I mean, that just looks freaking awesome. So I've called it relationship retail right now, because like customers coming in through the door, even though we might have bad news from everywhere else they're shopping, they're totally used to this. Most of the people that are shopping with us are also, they have their own industries that they're dealing with this stuff on. So while I'm telling them this is at least 4 to 6 months, and I don't know, but I'm going to follow up with you every 2 weeks all along the way, they're like, yeah, man, like I've been telling customers, on their housing projects, on the construction stuff, or, I was in plastics or whatever, so that we're all in this together.
Yeah.
So, but instead of focusing on the negative, how long it's going to be, we're focusing on the positive, what we can do for you, and also what makes us different of how we will communicate this whole time.
Right.
History of us, we would say, oh, come in 2 to 3 weeks, we'll call you. And, maybe on day 8, the second week, they are wondering where their stuff's coming, because you said 2 weeks. But instead, let's clarify this. Hey, this could be 2 to 3 weeks. And on day 11, I'm scheduling a follow-up with you, and we're just going to text and see where you're at. Because also your customer situations change as much as our lead times do, or as many price increases as we've had. Dude, their budgets in a family, that's the same thing. So you're really just trying to stay connected so that what they have purchased with you still is relevant to them. So you're not like having something come in that's super oddball that doesn't work.
Right.
So having that ownership of communication with the customer on the retail level is amazing. This has actually been the most fun I've had in service ever, like ever.
I mean, to your point, it's because I imagine there's so many more touch points now that you have to have with consumers, especially just to keep them, aware of what's going on, and in the loop, and sort of that checks for understanding, right? That they know how long those lead times are, and that you care about them. You're still top of mind to them. That they are still top of mind to you, and you're providing that service.
Don't ever think that we're not still top of mind to them.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're not calling them, when you're not staying connected, you are top of mind to them.
Works both
Where
ways.
is this stuff? And I haven't heard from them, so maybe this other store down the road has something in stock I can order. And that's where a lot of even our business is coming from, because other folks aren't being that intentional. And so you are top of mind to the customer, and you have to make sure you own that and make sure it's a positive top of mind.
Now, do you find, as customers are coming in, because I think one thing everyone knows of right now, the challenges in supply are hitting every part of this industry. As customers are coming in, are they understanding it all? Or is it they need it now? Kind of they expect to have it now, or are they settling? What is that initial interaction like with a customer these days?
It can depend on how many you've had in a row that are one of those three buckets of needed it yesterday, I'd like it soon, maybe for a reason, maybe not a good one, and then I'm just kind of doing this now and want something that I really want. So you just kind of have to ask really good questions. Like, oh, well, how did you, or what did you, how and what questions, not why questions, because then you're fighting or maybe you just don't know. But you just kind of get to know the person, figure it out, and then move forward with some options. But that's what we do. That's like what a salesperson's supposed to do. Say like, hey, Rob's just come through the door. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Have you been in before? No, I hadn't. Oh, great. My name's Andy. What's your name?
Right.
Your name's Rob?
Yep.
Rob, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in. You're looking at some mattresses. Have you come in to see some mattresses?
Right.
Yeah. Well, they start to go on and stuff. And it's like, that's the cue. Like, start asking the how and what questions and make sure you listen. But then, figure out what the best solution is for them. And it's not that bad. It's actually really fun.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, has it changed much? Obviously the conditions around us have changed, but is it just being more sort of aware of how you're selling as opposed to the process itself having actually changed?
There are actually huge changes.
Okay.
We would never have texted a customer before.
Yeah. Yep.
Ever. They didn't want to give us a cell phone number or an email because they don't want to sign up for any of that stuff.
Yep.
But now it's totally changed. They would love to just get a few bytes of information, peace out, because they got stuff to do, and please just text them on the back end of it and just like make it convenient for them when they're sitting down chilling on whatever, or they get to that sofa that they hate and they're like, oh, this guy sent me that message. That's right. Let me look and see if I can actually solve this problem. Because instead of sitting on the sofa and Googling the solution, you just made a connection, you listened, you were helpful, and when they get to the product that they no longer love, you're their guy and you're just a text away. And that's one of the most dramatic changes. I feel like people are more willing, if you have that high level of trust from just like learning their name, like listening to their situation, they are going to want to connect and communicate on their time in a very whatever fashion to solve their problem.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, obviously, the supply challenges are a thing. We talked about them.
We embrace the suck
absolutely.
of the supply challenges.
It's crazy.
We embrace it.
What other challenges are you guys facing right now as a retailer?
Ooh, I mean, what challenges aren't we facing as a retailer? A lot of it is the mentality of training versus learning. Like throughout all this, you couldn't train us to handle this a certain way, but instead, like especially with the way we've learned things from people like yourselves with nationwide marketing, when we show up to like prime time or like a leadership conference, you guys are actually not there to train us at all. We're there to learn best practices. So like switching your mindset to like, I don't have to train all my sales staff to do the, push this button, push that button. Instead, our biggest challenge is getting them to just learn the industry, learn about whatever it is their surroundings of, these are the tools I have, how do I leverage that stuff to do the thing I want to do and be more autonomous, which especially we have very young staff at this point. Like we have a lot of Gen Z, and thank you thank you, Mike Whitaker, for his classes on the millennials and stuff. Thank you for all the leadership from Nationwide Marketing Group, because we knew exactly how to inspire them. We give them purpose with what we do and why we do what we do. And suddenly, if there was ever a person like, they don't want to work as hard, they don't want as many hours and stuff, like some of that's kind of there. But when they're on our team, they are highly effective. Yeah. I mean, they are shoulder to shoulder with the veterans of our staff. They're selling way more effectively and higher volume than I ever did for years.
Wow.
But the reason being is because we might have helped develop that, but then again, when you instead of just saying, I'm your boss, instead we're like leader, trying to get this done together and working towards a bigger purpose, they are highly trainable to do highly learnable.
Right,
they are sponges.
Willing, wanting, and able to learn.
And they are really effective. So, like, a lot of people are saying they're short-staffed and they can't find new people. We aren't in comparison. Like, we would love more staff, sure, and we are always recruiting. Right, Mike? So, but, the reason that we're not as in the dire straits as others, especially when I look at some of the networking, is because you guys have showed us what we need to do to have a wonderful culture and retain employees. That's another one, retaining top talent. That is training. Those are learning academy. I'm never going to say the word training again. But we go to those classes. We learn that stuff. We apply it. And it really works. Like, it super works. And we have delivery staff, we have sales staff, and we just love it. It fires us up.
That's awesome to hear. And I know it's different for everyone, but it's always unique to hear how you guys are training. So what does training look like at Sweet Dreams? Is it, do you carve out a day a week, or is it you kind of set the team up to go do their own thing? What works for you guys? That
is actually one thing that we came here to really network with, learn best practices, and there's a few retailers here that have helped me develop that more, because I'm one of the guys. I onboard some of our newer staff members on the sales side. So for me, the process takes about 6 weeks, and we meet in the morning, we give some documentation over, and then it's just kind of like trial by fire with some of it too. But our delivery department does their own in-house training, and so they're doing all this stuff on their own to bring guys on board with, like, here's how you prep furniture. They do that. They might go on a truck with a veteran staff who is very good at explaining what to do, thinking out loud while you're doing some of the processes, saying those. It's almost like a cook's kitchen.
Sure.
Like,
absolutely.
with the level of communication on timing and all that. But really, but we could do better. And I've heard things from, like, Dr. V on Dos Marcos about how they have people excited to do the classes.
Right.
And, like, here I am. I'm excited to do these classes. Like, I am, like, super fired up to come and hear what these people are saying. And, so that's what we are trying to replicate in our own process, in our own systems. It's not the best way, but it's the best way we've been able to learn how to do it. And but literally why we're here right now.
That's awesome to hear. What? I feel like it's a loaded question, right? But
load it up.
Superhero can
handle it, got a good night's sleep last night.
You can handle it.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
What are some of the biggest changes? We talked about it, just the customer experience, right? But let's focus on in-store. Over the past 18 months, how have you guys adapted, that in-store experience because of everything we've been going through? And then, do you see those changes sort of, what are the lasting impacts of those changes? Does anything go back to the way it was in the pre-times, or is this kind of a new normal for, how you are retailing?
This is not a loaded question. This is a very important question because it's never going back to the way it was. I have never seen customers more excited to be able to come into the store as they are right now. So before, it was like, I got to put on my pants, I got to fight the traffic. But then last year with all the shenanigans, now it's like I get to go shop for this stuff. I get to go try them out. So, and we're going for that in-store customer experience where it's unique and it's different. And look at this, right? So, and this is in store. Like half the week, I literally wear these things and engage with customers like this because like, if you try to look like a big box store or like a big player, and because they're successful, they're going to outspend you, like way out of the gate. Like there's no chance, and you look exactly like them. So then, what makes you any different? But then with the things that Nationwide Marketing Group was the one who took us and said, hey, we just need you to differentiate or die. We need you to really do something unique. And then we don't look like a big box store. So we're never advertising on price. We're advertising on, my brother-in-law Greg, bootylicious sofas, right? This sofa is so comfortable. It's bootylicious. And then that's hilarious. People love it. We've had like little ladies coming in. I'm looking for the bootylicious sofa. We're like, oh my God, like, is it appropriate? But then they're like, they want to see it.
Yeah.
And that marketing worked, so we don't look anything like our competitors. So then that's the draw. And if they come in and our staff is like, oh, Greg, that was terrible at first kind of thing. But then they saw the people coming in for it, and then suddenly they're like, the bootylicious sofa is right this way, Mrs.
Part of your
Smith.
normal advertising and marketing.
And
it works.
Funny. It's fun. It's unique. It's not boring. We don't want to look like a big box store. We want to look like our customers, and we're attracting that kind of customer, making it more fun for all of our staff to work with. So that's one of the most important things. Retail has changed forever. If you don't invest in your team and build an awesome team, a royal guard, and make sure you're adding value to their lives and giving them purpose, and having them activated and engaged to do that with your customers and build that unique experience, you're probably going to go away, or you're going to feel like you don't like to show up to work every day. So.
Right. That's an important message, and awesome to hear you be able to share it. And I know you've got a lot of adventures left here and a lot of learning left to do, so I don't want to take up too much of your of a superhero's time. So. Oh,
I trained for this, but there's one last thing I would add.
Absolutely.
And that is, I don't know if a lot of members do this, or I don't think they do. I've been on a few panels in the past, and as far as like Prime Media and using that service,
media sign, or
MemberNet, which is
TV.
changing. They've got a new way. It's more fluid. It's easier. We literally ordered all that stuff for every single one of our stores, TVs in stores. And here's what I would suggest to anybody out there who hasn't tried this yet. And if you're terrible on video, I'm really sorry, but you're going to have to get over that and maybe try or find people to work with. But for a long time, MemberNet was on our wall and it wasn't effective.
Right.
And then we got into more of the digital marketing of doing videos. And so then when we calling up, talking to, the Bryant boys, they're super helpful. They love when you call them because that you're talking like their shop, and they'll go on for hours. But then they worked with us. They helped us get those commercials, like our commercials, up on there, and it was physically us. And we put that behind every single desk while we're ringing people up. And so then they're sitting there and they're looking, they're like, dude, that's you. You're on TV. And then right after that commercial comes on, or that Facebook video, or all that social marketing that you're doing that you would like to take credit for in store, it's overlap. Like, yes, that is me. And then it cuts to this super awesome pre-roll that you guys make, and they're really good at that. I would say it's like Hollywood level stuff. Great production values. It changes all the time. It's super fluid to just make it seasonal, customize it, and optimize it. And then with our new staff, like our younger staff, they're up there too, selling Jackson Capnapper, just doing like basic. Hey, this is what it looks like. I think it's awesome. I would love to have you try that. So suddenly it's like, you're on TV. And then when that pre-roll comes on, that's when the magic of it's no longer just an in-store thing. They really truly think it's like your own personal HGTV.
Well, it makes you, you talk about you don't want to be a big box, but it puts you in that sort of aura, that sphere of you have the backing behind you to compete, not be them, but compete with them and put you in the conversation.
Dude, Rob, how many times have you gone into a Lowe's or a Home Depot and you have seen the in-store stuff,
right,
but the person helping you was also on it doing the same thing?
No, that's not going to happen.
It has never happened.
Not going to
happen.
happen.
But then once it only took like a couple times where another salesperson next to me was seeing me, like they, like literally the person would just like, I want to work with the guy that's on TV. And then that's a high level of trust, and we're past a little bit of a barrier, and the close rate on that stuff is very, very high because literally you are the star, and people think ownership when they think, if I'm important enough to be on TV, I have to be a really, really important person in the company. And really, I mean, it's our Facebook videos, and like anyone who would get on those Facebook videos, would be up there. But once that happened a few times, suddenly, it used to be like, who wants to do Facebook? And I'd be like, oh. And then now it's like, who wants to do Facebook? Like
all hands
six people are doing it. And then when those 6 people start selling because they have that high level of trust and easy engagement, like the other people are like, well, I probably should start doing the videos too. I'll just give it a shot. So, but the member net, if you do not use that in your spot, you got to see the boys at that booth, because that's some of the most like when we put our touch to it and worked with them and talked with them, which I only did that even here, like at a prime time. Like I forged that networking, the relationship. Suddenly it's like it goes from zero, like not that effective, to like wildly effective. You could pull it out of our arms. Like I will not let you take my member net away at all. Like no.
That's awesome. And before I let you go, I want to close by asking we know the origin story of how Mattman came to be. Is there an arc? Is there a story arc here? Like, does the arc come down at any point? Or is Mattman sort of eternal?
I don't know. But I'm not scared by not knowing the answer to that question.
I like that.
Science is sometimes like I can't figure out why or how, but we just see that there's a problem there. What I will say is I've learned so much. I was doing 5Ks before. I had hurt my leg. I couldn't do them for a while. I get the chance and the opportunity that I'm grateful to try again. Yeah. But this time I've got better habits, and I especially want to help kids like form better sleep habits right now. So I've got a sleep challenge I'm going to do with them. I don't see that it stops anytime soon, but I've just got to try to see how many people we can help form like sleep habits, or especially gamers. I want to help gamers be effective. I want to help parents talk to gamers, but I know if like gamers have better sleep habits, likely if they're 15, 18 years old, they're going to do what their parents were hoping they would do. They might learn more in school. They might do those things. So I've got goals between now and maybe a couple years down the road, and I'm just going to follow the actions of those systems to see what. Dude, like how many superheroes? I have a lot of the superhero swag, so we're gonna turn on a lot of superheroes, and we're gonna make this world a better place. I mean,
it's been incredible to follow, and kind of inspiring too, man. I mean, the work you're doing is awesome, and to see the amount of fun you're having, I think that's the important part too, right?
Oh, I take this pun way to the moon and back, or maybe I missed the moon and it's Jupiter.
And it's just been so awesome to watch, and glad to finally have you on a podcast. So,
hey, thanks.
This is a lot of fun, and I appreciate you taking the time. Now, I guess hop back out there and keep doing what you're doing, and have some fun here in Nashville.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome, and thanks again to Andrew. If you watch the video version, we had a good bit of fun sitting there at the booth there in Nashville at the Gaylord, and just a great conversation. You can't not have fun when you're sitting across the table from someone wearing literally a big mattress costume, superhero uniform, I should say, not costume. But no, I appreciate him taking the time and sharing all of his insights and stories with us, and hope to catch up with them again soon. But as always, appreciate you listening to the Independent Thinking Podcast, and we will catch you next time.